Hey, y'all, and welcome back to another artist spotlight from the R&B representatives who are me, Naturally Elise, and my brother.
JR.
And today we are excited to welcome a new artist by the name of Desmond Parson. Hey, brother.
Peace, peace. Peace and blessings. How's everybody this evening?
You're doing good. I am.
Yes,
You good, brother?
yes,
I'm good.
indeed.
Yes, and Desmond is a independent R&B artist, but I'm going to let him tell you a little bit more about him and yeah, tell me a little bit more about you and your music.
Well, first and foremost, I'm a lover of music. I'm a child of the late 70s, early 80s, so I'm just inspired by all that music that was, my grandmother and my aunts played. In fact, the albums you see behind me are theirs. So, just a lover of music. And so my love for music went from just wanting to listen to it to create my own. I was inspired, of course, by the biggest picture behind me, Stevie Wonder. And so the writing, the singing, the performing, arranging, I just love that.
Yes. So, on our artist spotlights, we like to start off with talking about a song that is influential to you or influential with the song that you're going to talk to us about your song later. But what song did you pick to kind of talk about and to kind of get a picture of you musically?
For this particular song, "Sexual Healing" by Marvin Gaye, and so that early '80s Marvin, this song, as I was making my album, like in November, um, I make my music from scratch. I'm a keyboardist, and so I'm always inspired by something. It could be a song, it can be something someone said. And so with "Sexual Healing," it was just the undercurrent of the rhythm and the actual theme of what he was talking about in that song that inspired my song, or one of the inspirations for my song "I'll Be Around," which is actually releasing today. But outside of Stevie, I'm a fan of Marvin as well, and just delivery. And this particular song, just like I mentioned, the rhythm, the undercurrent, it just spoke to me. And the music speaks to me as a writer. It speaks to me first. The music helps me. It dictates what I want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that song, from all the instruments that he used to his vocal delivery. I mean, it's Marvin Gaye, and so it's just a sensual. I'm not saying I wish I could be as sensual as a Marvin, but just the
Don't we
inspiration,
all?
you know, but just the inspiration behind it lent to the making of my song. So definitely "Sexual Healing" was the song I chose.
Marvin, listen, anybody could ask me about sexual healing, and I can't even tell you when I first heard it. It
Mm.
just felt like it was always, I always heard it. It was always around. That is finally one song, you know what I'm
Yes.
saying, that I could tell you, because I normally could tell you when I first heard a song and be like,
Yeah.
yeah, I heard this, and I heard Marvin. Sexual healing seems to be always around when I was a
Yeah.
kid, but I finally started paying attention to it. And I was like, now wait a minute, these words is
Yeah.
a little much. Even as a kid,
Exactly.
and I'm singing it, and I look at my parents and my mom and my grandparents and be like, y'all was letting me sing this song? Like, for
Yes.
real? Like, what was you thinking? But they knew that I love Marvin. Like, Marvin is my favorite Motown artist. Now, I know, Desmond, your grandma let you introduce you to Stevie. So I know
Right.
that's your favorite. Clearly, he let it be known the bigger picture behind. Y'all saw it.
Right.
Y'all caught that, right? The bigger picture.
Right.
But when I did, it was like, to me, this has had that "Let's Get It On" and '80s swag to it. To
Wow.
me, when I
Very
started
good.
paying attention to it, because it was like, "Let's Get It On" was very to the point. It was there, you know what it was. But this joint just had that '80s sound that me and Elise kind of go in on a lot. But Marvin found it in the pocket, and like you did say, Desmond, it had that sway to it. It had something to it that was just. But again,
Yes.
he was inspired by that 80s reggae too when he
Right.
heard it. When he heard that, and then he played it on the drum. Because he was like,
Why?
look, I ain't got no money for no producer, so I'm going to do it myself. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? He was like, I'm going to do
Exactly.
it on the
Listen,
drum.
you know,
Yeah.
it's similar to Billie Jean from which was around that time, where
Yeah.
you the beat, it's the music you into. Then you realize that's what he was talking about, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and so it kind of drew you in. So the beat drew you in, and the sound of the music just drew you in. But then, like you said, when you started to listen and dissect those lyrics, some stuff was happening.
You
And
listen.
yeah. And you know, and one thing I really respect about this song and this era of Marvin is, you know, he been making music since the 60s, and he always found a way to be relevant in these different decades
Yeah.
of, you know,
Mhm.
so when you listen to this album, it doesn't really sound like any, it doesn't really sound, you know, like sonically like any other production wise, like any other Marvin, but
Mm-hmm.
you have to be like, oh, what was the time? And he was relevant and had this huge song when most artists, you know, after a few years, they can't make a relevant song, you know, for
Right.
whatever reason, not out of talent, it could just be timing. But, you know, that's a very rare thing. It's few that
Mm-hmm.
could do it, you know, like, you know, greats like a Stevie, you know,
Right.
or a Gladys or a Patty. Like, it ain't, their team is real small of who could do that.
Right.
Exactly. You're
Yeah.
going into a new decade. I mean, these Marvin, Stevie, Gladys, like you mentioned, they're 70s, well, 60s and 70s artists. So coming into the 80s, when now things are more like digital, electronic, you know, the Isley Brothers, you know, in
Mm-hmm.
fact, the Isley Brothers were inspired from Sexual Healing. That made them make Between the Sheets.
Yep.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
You
sir.
know, in a, you know, in a radio show back then, they would play one of those songs right after each other.
Oh,
Absolutely.
okay. Oh, I know
Between
that.
between the
I
sheets
know
and
that.
Sexual Healing. Come on,
Yeah, that
thematically,
inspires them. The Isley Brothers
sonically,
heard it.
classic artists. Like it made sense.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know, this was also a time where I was glad it, like y'all said, it made Marvin relevant again, because we know this is 82. Somebody named Luther coming in 80 and was like 81. It was like, hello, I'm the new
Yes.
guy. Hello,
I
look
Yes.
got
at
next.
me. Yeah, I got next. Like, look at me. And
Yes.
Marvin was able to come in and we know after what Marvin dealt with at the end of the 70s, and for this, it made me happy that it brought him back to where he was at a certain point. Like, he finally got a Grammy off this. Marvin
Right.
ain't never have a Grammy at all until this. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it felt good that he could come back and actually be like, y'all, I'm still the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm still
Exactly.
it. I can still adapt to this new sound. You know what I mean? Especially after coming out this disco, which was who, like Elise said on so many episodes, a lot of our artists in that disco era couldn't come out because it
Right.
was like they were stuck in that era and it was hard
Yeah.
for them to come out. But Marvin was like, "Oh no, nah, sir, you ain't getting me." So I'm like,
Yeah. Nah, that was his you know, I wouldn't even like you I don't know if you want to call it a comeback, but
right.
you know, when that thing was released, you know, and yeah, Marvin, he did that. He did that. And I that actually because we're you and I are polar opposites, bro. Like, you know, I'm Stevie, but then I listen to Marvin later on. I'm like, oh, so I went back and listened to a lot of Marvin stuff. You know,
Uh-huh.
Marvin was kind of, you know, my secondary to Stevie, but yeah, man, just that song alone, and then like you mentioned, you know, in the late '70s, what he was going through.
Yeah.
You can even see it in the Motown 25 special, where everybody was on Michael Jackson moonwalking, but you know, Marvin went through his greatest hits there too.
Yeah, yeah. That's right. Because I'm a 60s Marvin head, actually. I'm
Mm,
a 60. I love 60s Marvin because of the Motown sound of it all. But
Yes.
I respect the 70s with him so much because of the artistic side of him was really able to shine.
Right.
You know, Barry wasn't doing that in the 60s. He wasn't letting Stevie either. But
Right.
these two were really artists that needed to be a part of the process. Like, and once they were, it was like, uh-oh, you know what I'm saying? Something else open. And then for me,
Right.
I was like, wait a minute. He wasn't with Motown either. He was with Columbia. So he was with a whole new label and whole new things. And it was just like, but still, if you listen to this, it's still, like I said, it gave me the Let's Get It On swag. But with Marvin stacking at the end, that's classic Marvin right there. He was the one that was stacking on this. You know what I'm saying? At the end, even though he said some crazy stuff at the end, he was like, please don't procrastinate. It's not good. It's not good to masturbate. But you know they cut that out. Whatever.
Yeah.
They cut that out of the radio edit. You know what I'm saying? Like it cut
That's
off.
Right.
I can't wait for you to operate, and then click, done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But my boy playing on game.
Yeah. And like you said, JR, like if you were to strip away like the the production, the digitally created sounds of the 80s, it would sound like a classic Marvin song.
It would.
Because I find some like Pierce fans, they like to give a lot of heat about this song or this album. But it's like, no, he's coming into the time, but he didn't change who he was as an artist to me. He didn't change what he did with his voice. His voice still sounded amazing.
Right.
It was the same quality. That voice didn't drop.
No, it did not.
People, because it was so popular, sometimes people would be all snobby. But I ain't snob. I love Sexual Healing. I'll listen to that just like I see JR's 60s Marvin, I'm 70s Marvin to the core.
Oh, yes, God, she is.
Oh. But I listen to all of it. I love the Motown stuff. I love the 80s stuff. I love the entire span of his career. I think it's just mwah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I totally agree with that. So speaking of Sexual Healing and your record, I'll Be Around, I have to say this. When I heard it, I said he had to be inspired by Sexual Healing because the intro alone, I was like, wait a minute. Was he recording this and maybe had like Sexual Healing in the background or something? Because that intro, I was like, I hear the inspiration for real. Like, I was like, so when you said that this inspired it, I was like, oh, I can see it from the intro for real, especially because I know you produce your own stuff. You write your own stuff. So I know you produce this. So I was like, he had to be inspired by, like, I can see it. So, I mean.
Always inspired. Yes, sir.
Oh, man.
I'm always inspired by different stuff. Now, here's the thing, like for me as a songwriter, I don't sit down and say, all right, I want to make a song that sounds like that. Or I want to make a song, period. It doesn't work like that for me. For me, I got to feel it. If I think about it, it's not going to happen. And so it just so happened that there's two chords, actually, I was playing on the piano, and I needed something in the intro. I didn't want to just play the piano and then it's just the keyboard intro and then you drop the beat.
Right.
Everybody's doing that. So I needed something, and I found this synthesizer, and it just, you stop like, all right, what's about to happen?
Yeah.
So I like that, and I just
that's what I said. I was like, yo, he threw it, because I was like, where he about to go with this? Because that's the way I feel about Sexual Healing when it come on. Boom, boom. And I'm like, oh, shit. So when you did it on yours, I was like, where's Desmond about to go? Where are we going with this? And I was like, now, you could tell that he felt that. Like, this is what he felt. And it went in, and I was like, come on, production, let's go. Like, let's go. And then it had a little whine to it, too. I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, yeah, this a banger. And then when I told Elise, I was like, when you said this is the record you want to play, I was like, Elise, you got to hear this song, yo. I was like, you got to hear this song and tell me how you feel. And she was like, I'm a music head, so I know I feel this. I feel,
oh wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Appreciate
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This song is dope for real, for real. And then with your whole album as a whole, that you called it like November. I'm about to say the title all wrong. Look, when it comes to titles, please, I'm not the one.
so
I'm
good.
not the one.
Oh good.
But yo, can I tell you your record Triumph? Can we talk about that record for a second?
Oh,
Because
absolutely.
I think that you absolutely gave me 80 Stevie on that record.
You think?
Absolutely.
Oh wow.
Oh yes. I got in square circle for real. And the reason why I say this, because that one right there, yeah, she know why she's smiling. And she was the one, because I give 80 Stevie a lot of fever. And I mean a lot. So she finally was like, listen to this album, because Elise gets very, Stevie is her guy. So if I give him a little too much fever, she'll be like, cut it. So she was like, this is what we gonna do. You gonna listen to In Square Circle, and I've been playing it. So when I was listening to your record, it brought me back there because I've been playing it. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So when I got to Triumph, I said, I can see Stevie playing the piano and Desmond singing. I can see it.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Absolutely. I was like, all right, Stevie, you win. I like 80 Stevie. I was like, at least you win. You got it. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Wow. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I was just like, oh man. But yeah, I wanted to talk about, I know you wanted to talk about I'll Be Around, and we're gonna talk about that too, but I had to talk about Triumph because I was like, yeah, the big picture in the background, yeah, it makes sense.
It is what it is. And so, you know what I mean? Huge, heavily from chords to the phrasing. I'm at a point now where, I'm not Stevie Wonder. And for a long time, that was, as an artist, I had this, I can't do Stevie runs or do his runs like he doing. I can't, I had to, it's a process as an independent artist to carve out, who you are. Right. And so even the structure of that song, I didn't want a song. Here's a little trivia. I didn't want to do a song for Triumph that had a whole lot of lyrics. And the person I was thinking about, it's going to be crazy. I was thinking about Kirk Franklin. And the reason I say that is because I didn't want a whole lot of I wanted something that you can just say. I wanted a love song. There's only a couple of lines. Everybody else wanted verses and verses and verses. Nah, I want something that's going to stick in your head.
Yeah.
No matter what they do, I say no one. I wanted something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I love when people really show their talent. Yes, Desmond.
We love a little singing, a little impromptu singing moment. We not mad at it
at all.
I live for that.
I was feeling it, and so I wanted something that you could sing, couple of lines, and that you're still into it. It's still a song. It still deserves your attention, but I didn't want something where you got 3 or 4 verses and all these voices. Nah. I wanted something that you could just. This is it. This is what you're singing. Yeah.
What? Well, go ahead, sis.
Yeah, because everything doesn't have to. There's a beauty in simplicity. Like you love the, pomp and circumstance and the fireworks. That's fun too. But sometimes you just want something you can sink your teeth in and just really pay attention and a song where you can isolate different things. Like, sometimes you need the simple. You need both. It's a balance.
Hey, less is more sometimes, and now I did play the instruments that you hear. I did play those all the way through. I wanted, especially the piano from the intro, I wanted these instruments to have their own characters. Now that's straight Stevie right there. I wanted, you listen to, Talking Book, my favorite Stevie Wonder album, and you'll hear things in the corners that you ain't hear before. I said, I want to do that. And so I wanted these instruments to have their own characters. and
characters catch it, y'all.
characters. Ah,
Bye.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
all right, we wonderologists, so we know.
Yes.
We know. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, one of these songs, you know, is particularly Triumph, and then I think Janet Jackson. For some reason, I had Janet Jackson on my brain. All different things come in, and that's what Triumph was.
I didn't mention it this time, sis. He did. So, so what inspired this album? Like a November. What inspired this? What was the inspiration for it all?
Good question. So for some reason, I don't know if it was the industry, the music industry, or just that time of year for me. I love the fall, first of all. And it seemed like when I was in the 90s growing up, going to high school, all the music was dropping around the fall that I just loved. And so from Jodeci to, you know, Mary J, it just seemed, or maybe I was aware of it around that time. And so I wanted an album that felt like, you know, it felt like you were listening to it in November. You know, I'm on the East Coast. And so it can be cool, it can be warm, but I wanted an album that felt like, you know what, I need to put a coat on for this, or I need to sip some tea to this. You know what I mean? I wanted an album that made the theme is, this is in the November kind of a feel, maybe snowing, frost on your window. And some of the songs really, the intro, of course, shout out to Erica Floyd, who did the spoken word. I gave her the idea and she ran with it. And so I just wanted something that was chunky, something that was short and chunky, like 9 tracks, but something that felt like you were inside. You listen to this album on the inside.
Yeah.
And so that album is about.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because how you went from the intro to Blue Nile, that is a favorite of mine on this. That's another favorite of mine. Like for real, like it's enough, because I want to tell you, it felt smooth. This album feels so smooth to me. And like you said, well, I know you saying with tea, but mine gonna be a hot toddy with this. I'm sorry, but that's just what it goes.
I got you.
It's gonna be a hot toddy with me. And I was just like, he's just so smooth with this album for real. So for you to say that you wanted it to feel like November, it does. You know what I'm saying? Like it really does. And again, with another song, Let's Pretend, you did some stacking on that, brother. Again, Marvin comes into the play again, because I was like, how many times did he do this stacking? He got like 80 freaking joints that he put all together. Like, I was like, wow. I was like, this boy knows he's talented, man. Oh, listen, we listen over here. We plays no game at all.
I so appreciate that. Thank y'all so much. That's one of my favorites, actually, from the album. I was inspired. Just, you know what? You meet somebody and, you know, of course, we meet that representative. You meet the representative. So for the first year or so, I'm going to show you, I'm always smell good. I'm always look good. I'm always say the stuff, you know, I'm, you know, the guy from the Tyler Perry movie. I'm going to say the right thing and all of that. You know, they don't fast forward to like next year, like, what you want? You know what I mean? And so
all right.
I said, well, you know what? I was so taken and so drawn in the story arc. I met somebody. I'm like, you know what? Maybe you met him in passing. You knew him for a while, but you know what? Let's skip first and second base. Let's just pretend we already there. I'm feeling you like this. And so let's skip first and second base. Let's round this thing on the third and take it home. Let's pretend that we're in love. Maybe I've seen her, and, you know, whatever the case may be. And so that's the idea behind Let's Pretend.
No wonder I like that one so much, because I always get the beginning parts, Ty. You don't nobody get my representatives. I'm like, you gonna have to take this ratchet mess how it is.
Oh no!
I make sure I'm cute when we go out, because I don't, you know.
I dig it. Yes.
I'll take the bonnet off for a little while.
You a mess. You a mess. So with I'll Be Around, you said also that you was inspired by Snow Allegra as well. with
Yes.
I Want to Be Around. So was
Right.
that so you had Marvin and that record, or which record actually inspired more of this, the writing of it or the production of it, or what was that?
So when I make a song, usually I have the music first.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just have sessions where I make the music and I don't know what I want to talk about. It may have been that day that I heard Snow Allegra's song, and I'm just freestyling. So now I'm just using syllables, and then I think I'll Be Around came out first. It just fit. So I'm like, okay, I'll be around, and I heard that. I'm like, okay. So then where Marvin comes in not only the rhythm I mentioned in the beginning, but the playfulness, there's some lines, and especially the second verse, whereas you don't have a clue the do that you do that makes me fall for you. So now, I mean, I'm not really a ratchet. I don't have no evangelism stickers on my albums and nothing like that. But now I'm referring to sex. I'm referring, well, not just sex, but just the physical feelings of us being together. You don't have a clue to do that you do that makes me fall for you. So I'm reassuring my mate that I'm still here. I'm still in it to win it. And so it's a playful look at reassuring my spouse, my lover, that I'm still in this relationship with you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the different themes come in. And so I'm, playfully reassuring her. And so Snow Allegra's, around, and I'll be around. I mean, we're really close. And then Marvin, so it all just kind of came together.
Ah, okay. So and so what do you want people to take from this album besides you wanted it to feel like November? What do you want people to take from this?
Well, I wanted to, for me as an artist, I wanted to make this my contribution to, once I'm gone, that I can, like, the people behind me. It's more than just Stevie behind me. But there's some, Parliament Funkadelic, Jackson 5. There's a lot of people just had Stevie in this shot. But I wanted to have a cohesive R&B neo soul album that you listen to from beginning to end, and you feel like you're on a journey.
Love it.
You're on a journey. And another thing I wanted was that I didn't want to sound the same on all of the songs, particularly with this song. I wanted to have a lighter, playful voice. And I hate to keep using Stevie, but if you listen to Hotter Than July, the Stevie Wonder on Master Blaster doesn't sound like the Stevie Wonder on Do Like You or Lately.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I love that. I for a long time in the 90s, when Belle Biv DeVoe came out with When Will I See You Smile Again, I didn't know that. I heard that song over and over again. I was like, them guys did Poison too? And so I love that spice of an artist where you can be like, I didn't know that was him. I didn't know that was them. And so I wanted each song to have its own character where they didn't sound the same. That's Desmond. You can tell that's Desmond. I mean, you can tell, but at the same time, I wanted to give it a different inflection. So I wanted, from the musician or singer standpoint, they can hear that. For me, I love creating music. And so I wanted to just create a piece that you listen to from beginning to end. And it's like when you come out of the end of Come Through November, shout out to Lee Flowers, who plays the guitar on it, that you in this trance, like listening to I Can't Help It by Michael Jackson, when it goes off and you sitting there and you just, da, 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 and you hear that and you're like, where did we just go? You know what I mean?
You can tell from difference from your album, The New Me. Because you could tell the difference. Oh, Desmond, listen.
We does this.
We does this. Oh, yes, we does this. That's why I was like, what did you want to feel? Because the feel from The New Me is completely different from this, but you still gave me that Desmond sound, the way you singing on it to me. But you could tell there's growth. And I love that in an artist. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm like, yo,
Thank you.
like, and the artists that inspire you, it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, it
Right.
really makes sense because again, we Stevie heads here as well, and we know that talking book don't sound like individuals. You know what I'm
What?
saying? Individuals don't sound like First Finale and that and that. So when he listen
Right.
to you, your new me, it's Desmond. You know it from that woo. I can't sing like you, but it does sound, it's your voice, but this new
Right.
record is completely different. And you can tell the growth in it. And that's why I was like, brother, you is talented as hell. Like,
Oh,
I was like, you talented as hell. Yes, absolutely,
thank you.
absolutely. That's why when
Thank
you was like, I want to come on, I was like, okay. I was like, all right, so let me go and listen. And I was like, oh yeah, he's talented. Oh, absolutely,
Oh,
absolutely.
wow. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So,
Appreciate that.
Desmond, how about you tell people where they can find you, where they can find your music, and any closing kind of remark you want to let the people know?
Oh, absolutely. So first and foremost, I want to thank you all for first having me. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. You all, I've been following y'all, listening to y'all. That's it. I had to beg my brother Keith. I said, let me know how I can get on. I'm trying to talk to these people because you all,
We
the
got to get you on for
conversations
an
that
album now. We got to get you on for an album now. Yep,
okay.
yep, we do.
Yeah,
Yep.
I appreciate you. But yes, you can find me at I am Desmond_Parson. And on Instagram at Desmond Parson, on Facebook. My website is DesmondParson.com. You can find me on Apple Music, Spotify, Bandcamp. I'll show up anywhere and play and sing. And so, yeah, I'm all over. But again, thank y'all so much for having me.
Yes. And we appreciate you, and we'll put all your links to everything in the show notes. And yeah, and again, we thank you for hanging out with you, thanking us, but we thank you too for wanting to hang out with us. We love that.
Yes, yes, indeed. Yes,
Oh,
indeed.
absolutely. Absolutely. I was speaking my language. So y'all keep doing y'all, much blessings to y'all. And I'm a fan.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we appreciate everyone watching right now. We are a big old family over here, and we love new cousins. So bring in some more cousins over here by subscribing, liking, and sharing, and just telling your folks about us. And we will catch y'all on the next catch that or new artist spotlight or something. Peace.